Hey everyone, this is an auto start guide for the DCS Mig-19. This video will only cover the gap between what you need to press after pressing auto start. You will only learn how to do that and to deploy your weapons. If this is your first time here, this channel focuses on multiplayer sim gameplay. So if you're into that, please subscribe. First thing you want to do is arm your weapons. And in this tutorial, we're really focusing on air-to-air. So we're going to take 2 air-to-air missiles, 2 fuel tanks. If you want to have rockets, they go here. Bombs go here. Key thing here is you want HEIT ammo if you're going to air-to-air. While that's going, you hit left Windows Home to begin your auto start sequence. As auto start's starting to go, you are now going to flip all these bottom switches. These bottom switches are giving power to all your systems. You can turn on your IFF here. You can turn on your RWR here. When the power comes onto the system, as the engines turn on, this light should turn red, which will confirm that your RWR is on. You turn your radio up here and you choose your presets. For Enigma's dynamic Cold War campaign server, you will want to be on radio 1 for Overlord. From there, we are going to check our weapons. This is a very important button. By pointing it forward, this puts you on a single shot. For air-to-air, if you're in auto or in the back, you're going to be firing a salvo shot. The engines are still powering on. So in that meantime, we can talk about the thing to really look for. So I typically always do auto start. I hit it, then I walk away and I come back. Here are your lights. When these are not in this position, that means essentially that auto start's done or is about to be done, and you'll see that in a second. The key thing that you'll want to focus on binding is your jettison button, fuel tank jettison bomb button. If you have that bound and you have this flipped up, all you have to do is press the button and your fuel tanks and bombs will be jettisoned. The other thing too is your selector switch. So if you hover over here, it says ASP5 sighting mode. And you can see here bombs, missiles, cannons, NR-30 cannons, and then rockets. So basically what you do is I'm going to press the button that I have bound for guided missiles, and you can hear my missiles are growling. And then I go back to NR-30 for cannons. So basically you're just switching back and forth between these two, and you're going to be choosing your different modes. If you want to do air-to-ground stuff, you need to have bombs and rocket pods, and essentially you have one trigger. So whatever mode you're on, you press a trigger and it'll release. Now that we've seen that the lights have changed in this position, that means auto start's about to end, and the last couple things are over here. As these are coming on, as this has now finished, you bring your lights back to a neutral position, and you can take your chocks off with the radio menu. Now, one tip I want to say for this plane is your ammo counter is down here. So you'll notice that there's left and right. So your cannons are turned off, they're not armed. So these little 2 buttons here arm them. So if you hold down the left one for a good couple seconds, you'll see the light will turn on. So now my left cannon is armed. I would not recommend to arm both cannons. And the reason for that is you only have a total of 140 rounds. What you want to do is only arm one cannon. And then after you have shot a burst or 2, you then press a button that you have bound on your joystick or throttle. And then after a burst or 2, you'll have 2 cannons armed. And what you'll see happening is as you fight more, as you start, you have 1 stream of cannons shooting. After 2 bursts, you arm it again, then you have 2 streams of cannons shooting. And then at the end of your fight, you'll notice that you'll go from 2 streams back down to 1. And that is a clear visual indicator from this position that you're basically going to be running out of ammo soon. It is too hard in a fight in Cold War to be looking around and trying to maintain tracking of something. and then having to come look down to see how much ammo you have, and then to look back up, you'll lose your target. So just arm one cannon, again, a burst or two, and then you switch to, and then you can arm the second cannon. After that, you're good to go. There's no chaff or flares on the system. You don't need to use your radar. You don't need to use your gyro. I wouldn't even bother mapping it because it's essentially useless. The only last two keys you want to bind, really, are the afterburner enable. It's an X like a detente. When your afterburners are turned on, these two green lights will light up. And then the afterburner disable, which you need to throttle back and hold that down, and then you'll see that this will turn off. Everything else is off because flaps and gears. Flaps are here, gears here. And that's basically it. I think this is one of the most fun planes to fly. I'll have other videos on this. I'll link one of my favorite ones above so you can get an idea of how it fights. But this is a really great plane, and this is my auto start guide. If you found this helpful, please consider subscribing, and have a good one. Thank you.
Betwen.